Has anybody here, by round of applause, ever done any kind of illegal substance with one of their parents? Clap it up if you have. Okay, good. I'm going to share a story on a similar topic. When I graduated college, I was living in my parents' garage for a few years. And at this point in my life, I'd never told anybody that I ever did any drug. Didn't tell my parents I did any drugs. And my father told me he never did any drugs, even though he went to college in 1969. Woodstock marched naked through his house. Never did any drugs. So this one day we had plans to go golfing at like a 3-par golf course. And my dad comes in the garage and he says, "You ready to go?" And I decide I'm going to share. And I open my mini fridge and I pull out some pot brownies and I go, "Dad, I've got, some pot brownies, if you're interested." And he gets really nervous and sweaty all of a sudden. And he goes, "Let's do that shit, baby." Oh, I don't know why he's calling me baby all of a sudden. It's like drug shit already flying back from the 60s. We eat these brownies, and we drive his beat-up Cadillac to the golf course. And 30 minutes into this round of golf, I get fucked up. I mean, I'm no longer hitting a ball. I'm fucking talking to the squirrels. I humped a tree at one point, which is just barky and painful. It's not really arousing. And my dad starts talking trash. He goes to me, he goes, "I guess you can't handle your shit, baby." And I'm like, "Dad, first of all, maybe it just hasn't hit you yet. Secondly, stop calling me baby. That is freaking me down, man." So we finish golfing, and it has now become dark, right? Night has fallen upon us, as I like to say. And my dad starts to act kind of weird, kind of odd, right? So we get in the car, and we're driving, and I just say, "Pops, do you mind if we stop for 1 minute on the way home at Starbucks?" He goes, "Yeah, baby, that's cool, that's cool." So we pull into the Starbucks parking lot, and my dad's like not there. He's like definitely tripping. So I'm like, "Pop, just stay in the car. I'll be back in 2 minutes." He goes, "Yeah, baby, cool, cool." So I go in Starbucks. I come out 2 minutes later. My dad's gone, and the car is gone. So I begin the 8-mile foot journey home. 6 blocks into it, my father pulls up alongside in the Cadillac, gets out of the car, and here are his exact words. He goes, "Ben, I'm freaking out, man." And then he got even fucking weirder. He goes, "Ben, I lost my axis on the earth. I felt like I was floating above the globe. And everything was a grid. And I didn't know where you were. I didn't know where Mom was. And I need to get out home to you. I don't know how to find your brother." And I'm like, "Dad, why don't I drive home?" So we switch places, pull into the driveway. My dad gets really nervous and sweaty again. And he goes, "Ben, you can't tell your mother about this. I'll get a fucking divorce." And I said, "No problem, because I know how to lie like a normal human being. Problem is, my dad can't lie for shit." So I walk into the house, Mom's sitting there reading. I go, "Hello, Mom." "Good night." Simple. Here's exactly how my dad walks into the house. Right? Exactly like this. What? So I said, "Mom, Dad ate pot brownies." Later that night, 2 o'clock in the morning, my dad was sleeping on the living room couch. I woke him up and I said, Pop, I guess you can't handle your shit, baby." It's true. Now, we are here celebrating my birthday tonight, but also, to give credit where credit is due, it is also 3 days after Father's Day. So, what more appropriate time than for the first time in my career for my father to join me on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg coming up on stage. What's up, Pops?
Well, first of all, let me say... Let me say how proud I am of this guy. He was born on Father's Day, and he's given me quite a few laughs in the last 29 years.
Oh, hilarious start.
Basically, I knew I was in trouble with this guy career-wise when they called me into school, and he was actually in the 2nd grade. And they called me in and said, Mr. and Mrs. Gleib. And they'd say, we got to deal with your son using some profanity in the class. Thinking, well, what word could he have said? Maybe shucks, maybe something along those lines. It wasn't that, folks. They said your son, as a second or first grader, is using the following words: cocksucker. And I basically said, do you mean pot sucker? And they said, no. Pot, I thought he was ahead of his time. And I said, no, it's cocksucker. I said, obviously you must have gotten that from my wife, because I would not use profanity. Anyway, just to give a little nostalgia for some of you guys, maybe your parents must have told you who Ed Sullivan was. Maybe you've seen...
You gotta do an impression for everybody.
Basically, the Bonds guy must have heard of Ed Sullivan. And basically, it'll go something like this, where we go, over here we got members of the New York Yankees. For the kids, we will have Topo Gigio, and live from London, England, the Beatles. And we're gonna have a really big shoe.
Yes.
Anyway.
For those of you who didn't relate to that one, Ed Sullivan is somebody who people at college night have no idea who the hell that is. That's all right. That's all right.
It's all right. It's a little nostalgia. Do a little Google search. You guys be all set with that. Anyway, some of Ben's big hits that I like repeating to my friends, usually screwing them up when I tell them.
Material. All right,
I'm going to do a couple of your little things.
All right.
Ben sometime will go into a 7-Eleven and he'll say, well, I'm kind of hungry and I got to figure out what I should eat. So I'll go down the aisle and I'll get myself some chicken pot pie, because after all, those are 3 of my favorite things. Then, how about some of the silly names for Mexican foods like Pollo Loco, Crazy Chicken? Would you actually, if you wanted to get a hamburger, get something called the Mad Cow? Or how do they come up with something like Baja Fresh? It actually means below fresh. Who would want to get food that's below fresh? Now wait a sec, this guy, okay, now you're kind of getting into it, you're kind of not, you weren't digging all my jokes, but got the little beer action going here, and anyway.
That was good. You can get harsher when you do the crowd work, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so...
Beer action is nice, but you can make fun of his beard, you can say he looks ridiculous.
I wouldn't say that. You guys having a good time? I loved you in Goonies. Okay, moving right along. Adam, get me out of this mess. There's Adam. We used to play a lot of good basketball games in my backyard.
Yeah, and then funny story about Adam, he's an enormous, scary guy. And he was friends with my brother growing up, and he one time beat me up. And he's younger than me, he's 3 years younger. But he did, that is true. But like, that's not funny, that's like, fuck him for that.
Okay, so let's go to one of my standard jokes. I'm not going to bore you for a lot longer. And one of the jokes, I've used this over the years, it never gets laughs. So if I get laughs tonight, it will be a rarity. This kid years ago, it's a standard joke, says he wants to get for his bar mitzvah a Jaguar. So the dad says, it's okay, we'll get you the Jaguar, but a couple of things. We got to get rabbis to approve of the fact that the Jaguar will be the bar mitzvah gift. So he first goes to a conservative rabbi and says, hey, can I get a Jaguar for the bar mitzvah? And the conservative rabbi says, well, what's a Jaguar? Well, that struck out with the conservative, as this joke is striking out. We go right next to the Orthodox rabbi. Says, Rabbi, can I get a Jaguar for the bar mitzvah? Rabbi says, well, what's a Jaguar? And closing the joke, coming up real fast. We go to the Reform rabbi, and he says, can I get the Jaguar for the bar mitzvah? The rabbi's having a joint and says, hey, one problem with this. What's a bar mitzvah? Thank you, man.